Hello guys, in today's video I'll be doing a full top-down analysis of GBPUSD starting from the 3 months time frame all the way towards the 4-hour time frame. And if that sounds interesting to you, then be sure to stick till the end of this video. And so with that said, then let's get started. Okay, and there we are on the 3 months time frame, and we can clearly see we are strongly bearish as price has been making lower highs and lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, and this is our currently lower low. If I am to mark this in a true SMC way, we can clearly see that price here took this major inducement. So exactly right there, that was our major inducement, and after that it made a break of structure below there. That is, of course, price after price has taken out the inducement, this is left as a swing point, and if price reverses and makes a break past that, then that is what we call, of course, a break of structure. Then here we are, and then here we can clearly see the pattern repeats. Price takes the minor inducement. So let me mark this faster. So we have there our minor IDM. This one here is, of course, our major IDM. Let me just use that. This here is a break of structure. Of course, we can clearly see that. And of course, right here we have no any valid pullback, but this one which was created before the break of structure, and that's the exact reason why I have marked it as a minor inducement. Price gave a reaction, respected the minor inducement a little bit, but you can clearly see eventually price headed higher and mitigated this extreme order flow up here. So there we have it, our extreme order flow. If I extend this, we can clearly see that reversal was exactly on that extreme order flow. Our extreme order block was here and price has yet made it there. So maybe in the future, if price makes it there, that will be, of course, a reaction zone. Okay, so we have there our extreme bearish order block. Yeah, this is the extreme order block, and after price has mitigated that, we can clearly see price headed lower all the way towards that swing point or that lower low. And after breaking past that, of course, this is what we call now a break of structure. Yeah, and of course, now we have our current dealing range, and the high of the dealing range is none other than this one. And of course, the low of the dealing range, our current dealing range, is of course this one. We know the procedure, that is, after price has made a break of structure, the next step is usually marking the inducement. So right here, the inducement is of no doubt to be this one here, and in this case, it's a minor inducement. So let me do this so that we get focused with the recent dealing range. And we can clearly see exactly right here that this one here is, of course, our minor inducement. Price has yet made it there. We can clearly see price is heading there. Right now, price is reacting from this, what we call the SMT. So this here is what we call the SMT. Yeah, there is the inducement trap. I mean, the POY that is before the inducement is usually what we call the inducement trap or SMT. So price is giving that reaction, but as we all know, the SMT is just there to lure the early sellers. So eventually price will come all the way towards our minor inducement, take it out before it makes that reversal. So if I am to mark the POIs here really fast, you can clearly see all the order flows are mitigated. So exactly right there, this here was our extreme order flow mitigated, and of course the ones that come after that, we can clearly see they are all mitigated. So in this case, in our dealing range, there is no any valid order flows, and this means we are just left with the order blocks. This one here is our extreme order block. We can clearly see that. So there we have it, our extreme bearish order block. Our engineering liquidity is none other than the buy side liquidity right before that extreme order block. So there we have it, our engineering liquidity. So I'll just use its abbreviation, ENGLQD. And of course, any other POY apart from the extreme order block, in this case, they are all weak or inducement traps. Like this POY right before the engineering liquidity is, of course, a smart money trap. Yep, so it's not a POY to be relied on. So this is actually a smart money trap. And of course, this POY, of course, you know, this is the one that actually caused this break of structure, as if I am to do this, we can clearly see that this here is the opposing move before this selling displacement that heads all the way towards this break of structure. So of course you may say this one here is the decisional order block or the decisional POI because it is the one that caused the break of structure, but in that case you will be wrong, as we can clearly see the inducement is right here. And of course, the so-called decisional order block will be an inducement trap, or what we call in other words, a smart money trap. Okay, so right here, that's the information we have on the 3 months time frame, and we can clearly see prices heading towards this minor inducement, and we know we cannot sell without the inducement checkout. So in that case, then I will go to the lower time frame of the 3 months. Of course, this is the 3 months, so the lower time frame of the 3 months is of course the weekly, so that I can get to mark the minor structure all the way towards the minor inducement. Okay, so let me get to the weekly time frame, as that's the minor inducement there, and we can clearly see the internal structure here. So this zone is too big. So in that case, I'll just, let me get rid of all these and mark things correctly. So we all know this here is of course a weekly break of structure. So right here we have a break of structure on the weekly time frame. So in that case, we have a BOS here. Let me change this color so that you guys don't get confused. So we have it there. That is the break of structure on the weekly time frame. So this means that if I am to mark the order flows, we have our extreme order flow exactly right here. Yep, so that's the extreme order flow. So this means that, okay, let me just use the color that I usually use for the extreme or a valid order flow. This means that our rejection block will be, the origin order block will be that one, of course, and price is heading there. So all of these are just buy side liquidity that price is looking forward to take before mitigating the origin order block. And this is the order block that will actually tell us if price will respect the weekly structure or will respect the 3 months structure. So right now we can clearly see price is reversing after the takeout of this high. Yeah, exactly right there. We can clearly see. So it's actually not this high, but this high above here. Yeah, you can clearly see after taking that high, price is giving that reaction to the downside. Okay, so if I am to mark the weekly structure or the internal structure of the 3 months time frame, of course, we can clearly see that right here, price has taken out the inducement, additional sell side liquidity, and of course, this here is what we call a break of structure. Of course, on the weekly time frame or the internal structure of the 3 months time frame. So there we have. So let me do this so that you guys can actually see the bigger picture here. So where is the inducement? Of course, you can clearly see their price has taken that inducement and reversed back, making a break of structure. Again, after here, we can clearly see price takes out the inducement. So there we have it, the inducement. This one here is of course what we call the decisional, as it is the order block prior to the break of structure. So there we have it, our decisional bullish order block. And of course, right here we can clearly see that price reversed after the mitigation of this rejection block down below here. So after the mitigation of that rejection block, as you can clearly see, price reversed back all the way towards the break of structure again. So we have it there, that is our BOS or BOS, and you can clearly see the pattern repeats. So this means that we are uptrending. So our minor structure is uptrending all the way towards that. So okay, there we have it, the inducement takeout, and price mitigates of course the decisional. So there price mitigates the decisional order block or the decisional POI, and of course after that we can clearly see price eventually headed higher and made a break of structure exactly right there. So you can clearly see the pattern repeats. We are strongly bullish on the weekly time frame here. So let me just put this at the middle. And of course, if I am to mark the swing points, pretty much first here, we can clearly see that this here is, of course, okay, so this is a bull swing point. Okay, so there we have it, our higher low. This one is our higher high, our higher low, of course, and this one is our higher high, our higher low, higher high. So price has taken out this, you can clearly see price has taken out this buy side liquidity, and this is the reason for the reversal. It's not actually a strong liquidity level or a core liquidity level that is anticipated to make a break of structure, of course. So in that case, I'm looking forward for price to continue higher. So that was just to make, it was just to make a reaction probably towards this weekly POI down below here, and price to continue all the way towards our origin order block. And this origin order block is the one that decides if price will respect the weekly structure or price will fail the weekly structure and head all the way towards the inducement takeout on the monthly, not the monthly, but the 3 months time frame. Okay, so right here we can clearly see the pattern repeats again here. Price has taken out our minor inducement, so exactly right there, that is our minor inducement. Then this means our external low is of course our major inducement. So there we have it, our major IDM. Let me use caps. So there we have it. This is our major IDM, and price can make it there, but currently we can clearly see price has already taken out the minor inducement and mitigated our weekly. Okay, so and mitigated our weekly bullish order block. Of course, it is this one. So this is a big zone there, so we'll have to refine this, and in that case I will get to the daily time frame. Okay, so and to the daily time frame, we can clearly see that this one here is of course our extreme. So exactly there we have it, our extreme order block defined, and you can clearly see the order block failed. So this means price is looking forward for the rejection block, and if the rejection block fails, then in that case we'll be looking forward for the major inducement. So this is of course our extreme bullish, of course a refined zone. Price gave a reaction from there, but eventually, as you can clearly see, yeah. So this here is, bullish, extreme bullish order block. Yeah, and of course, yeah, the reason is why I picked that is, of course, you can clearly see if I start from this here, from this end, we can clearly see that this here is the order block associated with the fair value gap. It's mitigated, and right here there is no any order block associated with the fair value gap. It was this candle that took the recently the recent bearish candle low, but you can clearly see it's not associated with a fair value gap. So I have to shift till the candle that is associated with the fair value gap, and there we are. We get that candle. Of course, it's none other than this one. As you can clearly see, this is the fair value gap. Yes, it's mitigated, but just like I said, or just like we know the rules or the criteria of identifying order block, as long as there is some imbalance left here, then the order block is still valid. So price mitigated this order block, gave that reaction, but as you can clearly see, price continues lower. So this means the sellers are still in control, and hopefully price will be respecting this rejection block. If not this rejection block, then we'll be looking forward for this major inducement below here. So there we have it, our rejection block. So yeah, rejection block. So we are looking forward for price to reverse from this area. If price does not reverse from this area, then we'll be looking forward for this major inducement. So now let's get to the 4-hour time frame, as that is the lower time frame for the weekly, of course, the weekly time frame. And we can clearly see the internal structure. The 4-hour is strongly bearish, of course. So right here, if I am to start from this area, we can clearly see our pattern, of course. Okay, so there is our breakout structure. This here was the cause for the reaction. And of course, right here, we can clearly see price has taken that recently formed valid pullback. So exactly right there, and price reversed back, making a break past this low. And you can clearly see our higher high is still protected exactly right there. So what does this mean? That's the start of our complex pullback. Then after that, we can clearly see price. Okay, so let me just use this strong, yeah, like that. So this is of course our break of structure, and of course after that we can clearly see this here is our major inducement. After price has taken out the major inducement, that was a good sell, of course. So we can clearly see price headed lower towards the break of structure, and left an order block up here, the one that price comes back for its mitigation. And after mitigating that order block, we can clearly see that price is of course heading lower, all the way again making a break of structure past this low. Okay, take into consideration that we are coming to this order block below here. So if I get back to, okay, so all right, you can just stick to this time frame. We can clearly see that this one here is the order block right before our minor inducement. So this means this is of course a wick or an inducement trap or an SMT. And of course this here was the whole buying move before that buying displacement that caused the break of structure. So in that case, this is what we call now a weak order flow. It will just give a reaction, just like you can clearly see right here, give a reaction towards this order block, and you can clearly see price reversing back. And you can clearly see the 4-hour is strongly bearish as price has taken out this major inducement, mitigated this weak order block. Actually, this is a weak order block, and weak order blocks are not reliable, so that wasn't a valid sell. So there we have it, our weak order block. This here was of course our extreme order block. So we have our extreme bearish order block. And by the way, our internal structure on the H4, or I mean the internal structure of the weekly, of course seen on the H4, as the H4 is the lower time frame, is of course the one that I'm marking right now. So here we have, that was our, okay, so let me use the bear swing point. That was our lower high, this here lower low. So again, we have our lower low, our lower high, our lower low, lower high, and of course this is our lower low, and this here is of course our lower high. So price has taken out the inducement, mitigated a weak OB, and gave this reaction all the way towards the break of structure. Again, we can clearly see the pattern repeats here. Okay, so right here, this is our major inducement. As you can clearly see, price gave the reaction but failed to make the break past this recently formed valid pullback. So this means then our major inducement failed as price continued displacing lower, making a break past our sweeping low. And in that case, this means sellers are still in control, and of course we continue to sell all the way towards the the other reversal zone. So right there, we can clearly see that is, of course, our major inducement. Okay, should I mark this? Whatever, let me see. So we have there our major inducement, and of course, after the major inducement takeout, since the sellers are still in control, of course, we can sell all the way towards our extreme order block, of which is, of course, this one here. And as you can clearly see exactly right here, if I am to mark the order blocks or the POIs, okay, so I'll be starting from up here, and you can clearly see this is of course our order flow, and this order flow is of course, as you can clearly see, mitigated, so it's of no use to us. The next one, the one that comes after this, is of course this one, also mitigated. So if it's mitigated, I usually like using this color representing invalid. Same to this one, invalid. So right here, we can clearly see there is no any order flow that is valid in our case. So again, this here is also invalid. And of course, this one invalid as it was mitigated by this inducement pullback. So this means then there is no any valid order flows here, and we should stick with the order blocks. And you can clearly see, if I am to start from the extreme, this one here is of course our extreme order block. So the extreme bearish order block, exactly right there. This here is the buy side liquidity right before it. So of no doubt, that is the engineering liquidity, ENGLQD. Actually, that's the short form of it. And of course, the order block that caused the break of structure is none other than this one. And of course, that is what we call the decisional bearish order block. Decisional bearish order block. And this can clearly see, after price has mitigated that, it gave that move all the way towards this break, and ultimately towards the mitigation of our extreme order block. As you can clearly see, this is our weekly extreme order block, and after price has mitigated that, of course, now the pattern reverses as the buyers are now in control. Price has, of course, made that break past that recently formed valid pullback, of which we know it is actually the inducement of the 4-hour time frame. But in this case, since we have mitigated an extreme order block, this inducement turns to be a change of character. Then after that, we can clearly see price takes out the inducement, major inducement, and mitigates the extreme order block, and you can clearly see that buying move all the way to the upside. So there we have it, our extreme order block. And of course, if I was to buy, this will be my entry. Stop loss, of course, below the order block, being aggressive, being conservative, and place it below our low, targeting this high as our break-even point or our TP1. And of course, you'll be targeting the extreme, this one here as your ultimate high. And you can clearly see in this case, you will only hit, you'll only take the partial, of course, after price has made a break past the internal structure. Exactly right there. And after that, you can clearly see price came, mitigated this order block. So this order block was mitigated before the inducement takeout. So that's not a valid buy, but you can clearly see price still reacted from that. And eventually you can clearly see price headed lower. And a matter of fact, you can clearly see price respected our internal structures. You can clearly see our external high is still protected there on the internal structure. Price mitigated what we call the rejection block, exactly right here. So there we have it, our rejection block. And after price has mitigated that rejection block, you can clearly see the ultimate sell. Okay, so this means our order block here has failed and price has just made a break of structure to the downside. And what does this mean? Price is looking forward for the next, of course, the next POI. So in this case, where is our next POI is none other than this rejection block right here. So price has already taken out the inducement. As you can clearly see, this here is our inducement. So there is our minor inducement. And of course, this is, of course, our break of structure. So in this case, it's hard to identify the POIs. As you can clearly see right here, there is no any visible POIs. So in this case, I'll just use the rejection block. This block is mitigated. So the one that comes after it is none other than this one. So in that case, I have this one here. So there will be our hidden order block. So in that case, price has mitigated something and you can clearly see price is reversing back. And this is a minor inducement. So whatever price has mitigated here is considered to be weak. So probably we don't know, price can continue higher all the way to this area, or price can actually continue lower after respecting the whatever price has mitigated. The weak whatever that is here. Of course, this is not a reliable zone. Even if price is reacting from it, it's not a reliable zone to sell towards the external liquidity. So price can head higher all the way towards our valid zone here for the sell. As this one here, I will just call this here a weak POI. So price is doing that. I don't know if price will make it to there or price will continue higher all the way to this area so that we can sell all the way to the weekly rejection block, or price will of course continue lower, making a break of structure so that now we can see if we can get that another sell, or price continues all the way to the rejection block and see if there is a valid reaction from there. If there is no any valid reaction from there, then of course we'll be looking for the reversal from the major inducement, of course the weekly major inducement, and this here is our high probability buy, of course after the checkout of this major inducement. This here will be of course our high probability reversal all the way towards that external liquidity. So here are our two reversals that we are looking forward for, and that is of course my bias for Monday, so that I get to see what price will do here. Will price reverse from this rejection block all the way towards this weekly external high, or price will reverse from this major inducement? So let's see what this week says, or what this week unfolds. Okay guys, so that is of course my view or my analysis, or the full top-down analysis of British pound. So this means you know what you're expecting in the long term. We can clearly see that British pound is buying, of course, but that is just a prediction. We will only act if price confirms it. So for the swing traders and of course the day traders, I know I did you a great favor in this video, so let's reciprocate that and do me a favor also, drop a like into this video, as I know it was insightful, informative, and of course valuable to you, and I'll be happy to see you in the next video.